走起！
什么？好快！
We all talk about popular fights, like Sun Jin-woo versus the Ant King or Luffy versus Kizaru and so on. But then there are hidden gems that need to be rediscovered. Fight scenes that are super underrated that need more recognition. So today we're going to take a look at some of the most underrated fights in anime. Starting off strong, we have Balsa versus Assassins in Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit. This fight's a quiet reminder that not all power comes from flashy moves or loud shouting. Balsa walks into a 4-on-1 fight with only a spear and leaves without even breaking a sweat. There's a reason some people still call her one of the most underrated badass women in anime. The choreography respects realism while still giving us the kind of smooth combat that fans of grounded anime like Samurai Champloo or Vinland Saga would appreciate. It's not loud, but it is legendary. Moving on, we have Grand Blue Fantasy and this awesome fight between Gran and Tiamat. I mean, you have to have the balls of steel to jump off a ship in a world that consists of sky. Gran did exactly that and won our hearts instantly. However, Tiamat's terrifying and deadly in her own right too, but the actual fight is just out of this world. It's a short scene, but the tone, the timing and music give it that hero versus the impossible energy that fantasy fans live for. Bonus points because they actually made Tiamat look threatening. Next up is the final battle in Mushibugyo. This final battle throws everything at you. You've got a whole squad of fighters going up against Sanada, a boss level threat who just brushes off even the strongest attacks. Instead of being a confusing mess, the scene gives each fighter a chance to show off their skills with clean animation and great pacing. What makes it work so well is how the show balances chaos and clarity. No frame is wasted and the transitions between characters are smooth enough to keep your attention locked in. Jinbei finally hitting his stride feels earned, and the whole team delivering combo after combo gives the fight an epic last stand vibe that makes it way more hype than people give it credit for. Coming in, we have Destiny versus Orpheus in Tact Op Destiny. This one's a visual banger that didn't get the love it deserved. The fight between Destiny and Orpheus takes everything a good anime has and combines it into something that's both emotional and intense. Destiny moves like a trained weapon, and the fight carries a kind of weight that pushes her arc forward without needing much dialogue. Every hit feels deliberate, and the sound design adds a lot to the impact of each clash. If you ever needed proof that Tact Op Destiny had more to offer than just good visuals, this is it. Moving on, we have Guido fighting Demon Sword Ashkan in The Witch and the Beast. This fight is raw and messy in the best possible way. It doesn't go for polish, it leans into rough edges and frantic movement, which makes it so dynamic. It's rare to see a fight this wild outside of mainstream shows, and yet The Witch and the Beast delivers a full-on slugfest that's impossible to ignore. Everything about the fight scene is unpredictable, while Guido's rage and determination definitely give it an emotional angle. It's not a fight that's meant to look clean, it's meant to hurt, and that's what makes it sick. Pushing forward toward Gleipnir, we have Shuichi and Yoshioka versus Subaru. Gleipnir doesn't care about rules or logic. It just wants to put weird creatures in violent fights and somehow make you feel things. This particular showdown brings raw power, a creepy atmosphere, and just the right amount of psychological tension. The fight looks chaotic, but there's a strange appeal to the madness. The animation goes hard and the sound design makes every impact feel heavy. It's everything Gleipnir is supposed to be. There's just a lot of shock value here, and the direction they took it towards was solid as ever. Slashing their way on the list, we have Sunraku versus Lycagon in Shangri-La Frontier. This fight throws the whole start-to-boss idea out the window. You know what makes Sunraku versus Lycagon so badass? It isn't just the sharp animation or game-like structure, it's how it builds pressure without needing god-tier power scaling. The fight reads like a skill check, and the longer it drags out, the more you realize this isn't your typical early game encounter. The timing is tight, the effects are clean, and the moment Sunraku adapts mid-fight feels earned. Add in that dramatic soundtrack that kicks in just before the clutch, you've got a banger of a boss battle that feels way too good for how early it happens. Without skipping a beat, we go to Dead Mount Death Play. Poker's fight with Lemmings works because it treats every moment like it's balancing between logic and madness. Lemmings might have the assassin's edge, but Poker's calm, nearly emotionless energy somehow makes him scarier. You don't know whether to root for anyone, and honestly, that tension is what gives the whole scene its staying power. Here's another underrated anime in this list, and it's Ishura. It's got some really amazing fights, this one. Sojiro vs Shulk is one of those fights that we absolutely loved. You see, Sojiro loves to fight. He loves the thrill of it. No matter how many times you challenge this guy, he's gonna say yes and beat your ass afterward. Against Shulk, the Sound Slicer, Sojiro did the same. Throughout this fight, we see Sojiro having the time of his life, both exchanging quick moves and close calls. He doesn't even care if he's cut. It pushes him even further. There's something satisfying about a swordsman who smiles while bleeding and still manages to dodge with pixel-perfect timing. It's not about who wins, it's about who can push him the farthest before getting absolutely diced. Let's look at this one fight that OGs might recognize, and it's Yuli versus Agatha from Sirius the Jaeger. Seriously, this is your sign to check out Sirius the Jaeger. This anime has werewolves and vampires, and there's a whole lot of action, because if you've watched Twilight, you know they can never get along, right? Physically, the fight feels oof, and the camera keeps up without cutting away every half second. Yuli moves like a trained hunter, and Agatha has that chaotic energy only anime vampires just seem to master. The entire sequence feels like it belongs in a much bigger show, and that's exactly why this one hits. Now, this one on our list is for the folks who love their anime battles with a heavy dose of ancient grudges, flashy magic, and one guy who's way too calm for how insanely overpowered he is. We're talking about Otomo Jin versus Ashiya Doman from Tokyo Ravens, a fight that drops out of nowhere and proceeds to leave us in awe. First off, Otomo is the ultimate don't let the chill vibes fool you character, but when it's time to go, he flips the entire battlefield on its head like he's been waiting years for someone to test him. But Doman's actually a walking legend, the kind of sorcerer whose name alone makes people pause. So when these two square up, you know it's going to be wild. The fun in this fight is brought about by the strategy. There's a sense of respect mixed with rivalry that makes each move hit harder. This is the kind of fight that makes you pause the episode just to process how cool it was. working its way is The Wandering Witch of Elena, where Elena fought the Stardust Witch, the kind of anime that will make you fall in love with your life. You see, Elena is considered to be this prodigy, but her parents also want her to learn some humility, and no one gives a lesson about humility better than our lovely sensei Fran. We see Elena pushing herself to her limits for the very first time. The pacing lets the impact land without rushing, and the animation stays crisp even during the most intense moments. Fran doesn't just push Elena physically, she humbles her in the most mental core way possible. The next spot is for Land of the Lustrous with the diamond fight scene. This fight is what happens when CGI is actually used well. I mean, the story alone makes this anime a unique piece of work with gemstone-based beings featured in it, but this fight just takes it up to the next level. The beings do look strong, but they can shatter just like that. The fight choreography is insane too. If 3D CGI always looks like this, then I'd welcome it with open arms. They utilized 3D CGI in a way that adds to the cinematography instead of just being too lazy to properly animate. The fact that this entire scene was done in a single shot only makes it more impressive. Fight scene in Akudama Drive takes a spot on our list because of how unhinged the battles are, and the one between the Akudama and the Executioners is the perfect example of that. So, the Akudama are criminals with some seriously problematic personalities. They're fighting a bunch of Executioners who are out for their blood. Now, this fight is brutal because no one's holding back. They're going all out. It even looks straight out of an AMV editor's dream project. Coming up, we have Mirai versus Akihito from Beyond the Boundary. You know, this used to be the anime back then, but its fight scenes didn't get the same hype. It's a high-speed, emotional gut punch where the animation flows like a duet, and the sound design carries just as much weight as the visuals. Every attack they land seriously hurts here, and when the soundtrack kicks in, it definitely hit me right in the feels. Chichika is the kind of protagonist who doesn't need a weapon. Instead, he has this body sword thing going on. On the other hand, we have Imon Zaimon, the exact opposite of Chichika. The pacing keeps you locked in as both fighters push each other with a relentless exchange that barely gives the viewers time to breathe. Honestly, this fight deserves a lot of love. There's a rawness here that gives the fight emotional weight beyond technique. Moving on, we have a fight between Seigi and Izzy from Taboo Tattoo. This series may have slipped under the radar, but this fight deserves your attention. There's no drawn-out monologue or build-up here. Izzy just drops in fist first and forces Seigi to catch up or get wrecked. She's unhinged and unstoppable. This fight features some of the cleanest hand-to-hand combat I've ever seen. The animation and the choreography were clean and heavy. Izzy's energy is wild, but it's controlled chaos here. It's the kind you don't want to be on the receiving end of. She may be completely unhinged, but let's be real, she's our unhinged queen. How about it? Liking the video so far? Well, don't go anywhere because we've got more underrated fights coming up. We'd truly appreciate your support by giving this video a like and maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you're not part of my wonderful community. You can also join my members community where I upload some content just for the members. Alright, let's check the rest out. Staying on this highlight streak, we have Mume versus Kageyuki in Kabaneri of Iron Fortress. There's a moment in this fight when you stop trying to follow every move and you just let your jaw drop. The choreography of this fight scene had no business going that hard. This isn't just a cool scene for the sake of it. The moment is sharp, the cuts are purposeful, and every clash is backed by Hiroyuki Samano's god-tier soundtrack. It feels like you're watching a final boss fight wrapped in a music video, and the pacing somehow keeps up with both. It's not that this scene didn't get recognition because it lacked quality, but it's because Kabaneri came and went too fast. With a sword in one hand and massive balls in another, we have Sengoku Basara and the fight between Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Chosokabe Motochika. It's a raw spectacle cranked to 11. One punches oceans, the other rides into battle like he's auditioning for a Mad Max reboot, and somehow it all works. The animation is bold, the pacing never lets up, and the destruction is gloriously unnecessary. It's like the show asked, how dumb can we make this look while still making it cool? And the answer was yes. Every frame is a power fantasy, and it's impossible not to get swept up in the absurdity. And that's because sometimes we need a little anime chaos in our lives, and this scene delivers that in full. We started off strong, and we're still going strong with Koyomi Araragi versus Kishon in Gizu Monogatari. This fight feels like Monogatari went on a sugar rush, got emotionally wrecked, and then decided to drop one of the most ridiculous yet impactful battles in the franchise. They're basically two immortals locked in a slapfest that levels landscapes, and it somehow works perfectly. It doesn't just go hard, it goes abstract, with every hit looking like it hurts on multiple planes of existence. You're laughing 1 second and checking if you need glasses the next. There's no clear hero here. It's just raw emotion and chaos dressed up in incredible visuals. You either get it or you don't. But trust me, once you see it, you won't forget.
ここまでチャージした不運でおそらく奴を倒せる。
how can we forget about Undead Unluck, especially when Andy fought Gina. This fight from Undead Unluck deserves more love just for how wild and unexpectedly emotional it is. Andy can't die. Gina's a geriatric psychic in a child's body, and together they give us one of the most creative clashes in recent anime. The real magic here is how well the action balances absurd power with clever combat logic. Every move has an impact, the visuals pop without being overwhelming, and there's genuinely tension despite the chaotic setup. It's not just good because it looks cool, it's good because it hits you with something that you weren't expecting. Heart.
僕を忘れることは絶対に許さない。
We're down to our last few underrated fight scenes, and we have one between Goku and Izanami from Be the Beginning. If Netflix ever wanted to prove it could go toe-to-toe with traditional anime studios, this fight would be its resume. Goku versus Izanami is explosive, polished, and overflowing with kinetic energy, yet somehow still gets zero hype in the anime discourse, and really that's just criminal. The fight's strength lies in its clean direction. There's a rhythm to the movement that almost feels musical, like a fight scene directed by somebody who really hates jump cuts. People joke about Netflix anime, but this one deserves to be exempt from that slander. This one's coming up high on our list. Shiro versus Angelica in Fate Khalid. This fight feels like Ufotable influence took a detour in Fate Khalid just to drop something insane before heading back to Babylonia. Shiro versus Angelica blends elegance and brutality in equal measure, with every clash looking like a mural you'd hang above your gaming setup. The real power here is the color design and the animation control with the fiery oranges versus cold blues. Angelica fights like a walking nuke, but Shiro stands his ground with nothing but willpower and good timing. It's the kind of fight that makes you forget this series is technically a Magical Girl spin-off. The quality's too good to be ignored, and the emotional weight sneaks up on you mid-sword clash. And next on our list is Fan Lingxiao versus Bai from the All-Devouring Whale. Ever seen a Chinese version of Pokemon? Well, it's this. The All-Devouring Whale gives us one of the cleanest animated showdowns in recent donghua, and Fan Lingxiao versus Bai is at its peak. This is also the kind of fight that makes you pause mid-episode and think, wait, why isn't everyone talking about this? The moment is fluid, the colors pop, and the choreography is so well directed that it almost feels like a strategy game came to life. You're not just watching a fight, but you're watching smart combat laid with personality and visual flair. Just don't be surprised if you end up binge watching the whole show after this one. And that's a wrap for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up before you go. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon for the latest updates on our videos. Feel free to drop a comment under the video with your favorite fights from today's list, or let us know if there are any that you think we should add. We love hearing from you. Until next time.